Welcome to Unruly 3, father of 3 unruly kids.
I'm not really.
Alright, so I'm going to try to make a dice vault and dice tower combination. This is my carve right machine, and it is carving on the top of this. This is the dice vault part, and this is where you store your dice in. So this piece is 3/4 inch thick. I'm going to be making it with walnut, and I'm going to be carving adventure on the top. We're trying to figure out what to carve, and so you can kind of see how it goes back and forth, and it slowly pushes it through as it's going a little bit each time. And there's our adventure. I used my Wyrmwood to kind of clean it up a little bit. After some thought, we decided that this gold was going to be really pretty. I really wish that I would have gone with something brighter, maybe red or an orange. But once this gets all done, it looks okay, but I wish that it would have been a little bit brighter so it stands out more. But you can see here, I kind of poured it all in, and then with my big popsicle stick or whatever that is, kind of spread it around so it gets in there good, gets the excess off the top, and then with your toothpick go around and try to get all the bubbles out, the big bubbles. And then again, I used my my flame that I had used before to go through. Alright, so I'm going to be making the dice vault part. So I got this collet on here, so that collet does not allow it to go inside of that pattern, so it'll keep it out that far. Having the vacuum on here really helps. It sucks up most of this stuff. Didn't really make that big of a mess. And then this one, now that it's down that far, it will only roll up against the side of that, and this is going to make a nice little rounded bottom onto this. So as I get this going, watch how it gets this dust here in a little bit. So it makes a big pile there, but then it starts to suck it right in there, and it keeps it pretty clean. But that really helped out a lot. That's nice and rounded one. All right, so here, this is part of the dice tower that I had. I actually sent this to a friend of mine. His name he has a YouTube channel called The Kinney Hack, and he used his laser burner on here and burnt the Wildemount map on the back. That's gonna be a whole bunch of, I had a pattern block on here, but it took me, I did not record that part for some reason. I missed it, of me setting these patterns on here. And here's the dice vault, getting ready to drill in some holes with this 8mm Forster bit, and then a whole bunch of these holes too. Then after I get these holes all done on all of them, a little bit of super glue, and then I'm going to put the magnets in here. And then I use this little thing here, it taps it down so that I can get them just below the surface. And repeat. So I saw these dice towers. There's a company called Wyrmwood who makes these dice towers. They're pretty amazing, but depending on the wood that you get, they can be pretty expensive. But I will say that all the reviews on them say that they're just phenomenal. So people really do love them and that they're built really well. But I thought I could maybe build one on my own. So I kind of watched some of the videos. I'm not sure if mine are the same measurements as theirs or not, but I kind of put this together after watching a bunch of their videos on their dice towers. So here I'm just trying to get the ends pounded in, and when it put together, it folds out and there's the map, the Wildemount map. Here I'm just cutting off the edges of the splines. This makes the box a lot stronger when you add these splines in. I think they look really good, so I'm just trimming them off. Alright, so I'm going to do a whole bunch of sanding. But I did actually send a letter to Wyrmwood. They're the people that I got this idea from to make these. And I sent them a letter. I said, I've never really done this before, but I thought maybe I could ask you guys to be courteous. I'm a woodworker and a D&D player slash GM, and I really want to make a Wyrmwood inspired magnetic dice tower. I was wondering if it was cool with you guys. So, like, just to be courteous, I thought I would send them this letter and ask them, I didn't want to, like, be in trouble for copyright infringement or anything like that. So, but yeah, I sent them a thing asking, well, it was an email, not a letter. And I got a response back from Christopher Gates. He said, yes, of course, we love, in parentheses, do-it-yourself projects. Feel free to post it on social media and tag us too when you're done. So I was really excited to hear from them, and I'm glad that they're okay with this. And I actually seen some of their videos where people make their own dice towers and dice vaults like this and send them into them, and they kind of will judge you and say whether or not they think what they like about them. But I'm sure that this is I don't want to send this in because I don't want them to hammer on me. But anyway, this Wildemount, the map that we got on the back of ours, is from the Critical Role podcast, and they have 2 seasons out, I think, maybe more. So Matthew Mercer had kind of set this up, and it was born out of a live stream game, and then D&D adapted it to be part of their own world. So it's an entirely new setting, set an entire campaign, and then it was published by Wizards of the Coast here in 2020. So it's one of the newer ones, so I thought it'd be pretty cool to have the Kinney hack over there put this on the side. I thought it'd be kind of fun. So every now and then you see some sparks from that because the magnets might be just a little bit higher. So here, after sanding, I went through and I sprayed it all down with water. This makes the grain pop a little bit because sometimes when you add the finish at the end, it feels rough. So after it dried here, I come back over with 220 grit, and I'm trying to round the corners a little bit too so they just don't feel so rough. So now every now and then you'll see me kind of roll those over, and I'm just trying to get it so that they feel smooth to the hand and that the corners and the edges aren't quite so rough. And so it did take a lot of sanding. So here I'm at 220, and I'm going to work actually I stopped at 220 on that one. So one of my favorite parts here is putting the oil. So all I'm using is some butcher block oil. I could use other kinds of finish, but like I could use a wipe on poly or something, but I kind of like this, and then it's just really easy just to throw some oil on it again later on. And it really makes the wood change so much. It makes this walnut look just beautiful. So each one of those pieces changed so much from being that dark, drabby grayish color to being a rich brown with all kinds of beautiful grain in it. This box part really turned out really, really neat because it has like some sapwood and some heartwood on this other side here. Once that gets on there, it really makes it look neat. Alright, so after I get it in there, all the oil on there, I just go back over all the pieces again, and I'm just kind of wiping off the excess, but it does get quite a bit on it. Just trying to clean it out a little bit. Alright, now I'm going to I'm taking these numbers and I'm numbering the pieces. So this is number 1, and then you match number 1 to number 1. Then put number 2 on there. That way when you put it together, it's kind of easy so that you can just find the pieces and just match up the numbers. So it's not like some confusing puzzle without anything on there. Just making sure that the pieces are fitting the right way when I do it. Alright, now I do have another one here. The Kinney hack, he also did these three, which could make another one. And so those will be pretty cool. This one's on poplar. And the finished product here. So this is kind of how it works. So see, it does have some oil in there just from being sitting. But this one here has the numbers on it. So find number 1. Match number 1 to number 1. I think that was 4. Then after that was all done. Oh, and my daughter said that we should use some red leather for the inside. And I put some red leather inside of the dice vault as well. And the dice just roll down there. Keeps your dice where they're supposed to go. All right. Thanks again for watching. And then the map, of course, goes together like that so you can see the Wildemount map. All right. Give me a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed it. Give me some comments. Thank you.